We do have ourselves further information when it comes to the NFL and what their plan is for the holidays next year. We talked about the NFL wanting to go ahead and kind of take over Christmas. They've got 3 games planned for next year, so you're going to get 2 on Netflix. You're going to get a nightcapper on Amazon. And it appears like the Chiefs and Chargers will also get the Brazil game. That's how things are looking there. That's one of the reports that L.A. was going to be the designated home team, but Kansas City will open up against the Chargers. But the Chiefs have also, when it comes to the Christmas slate of games, have said to the NFL they want to be featured there yearly. They would like that spot, much like Detroit and Dallas get the Thanksgiving Day game. The Kansas City Chiefs would like the Christmas Day spot moving forward. So are you in or are you out on the Chiefs getting the Christmas Day game from the NFL moving forward? Little Christmas Chiefs tradition here in the National Football League.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. You guys don't like spending Christmas with the Mahomes family and the Kelseys and Andy Reid and Chris Jones and everyone? Is that like an issue?
Well, Chris Jones is one thing. I don't.
He gave a gift.
Yeah,
he's throwing a lot of stockings. You know,
yeah,
he certainly did. I don't think the NFL goes this route because up until a couple of years ago when Detroit
what do you mean by that?
Well, up until a couple of years ago when Detroit got good, people were tired of seeing Detroit and Dallas on Thanksgiving. Like they were they wanted to spread the wealth.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I feel like that was part of the tradition of football, though. Is like those two specific teams, good or bad, you're going to see them on Thanksgiving Day, and it could be glorious, it could be a disaster. Either way, we're going to all witness it together.
I didn't have a problem with it, but Detroit rolled out some vomit for a long time every single Thanksgiving, and I think people were like, man, can we get some different teams featured? And I wonder if the NFL looks at this as an opportunity to do that, as opposed to having the same team every Christmas. Maybe we spread the wealth a little bit. Either way,
I think that makes sense. I think it makes sense to spread it out, honestly, to rotate it around, because you may have a bigger star at some point on a different team, right? And at the end of the day, that's what this is all about, is putting your biggest stars in front of the camera so that people will, want to watch. For now, of course, it makes a ton of sense to have them as the mainstay as long as you have Patrick Mahomes playing at the level he's playing at. But at some point, I mean, Kelsey goes away. At some point, Andy Reid goes away. Now, Patrick Mahomes will most likely still be around after those guys are done doing it. But what does that look like for Patrick Mahomes and this Kansas City Chiefs team once they lose Andy Reid? That's the biggest one in my estimation, is once he's gone, are they still going to be able to sustain the success that they have? So, and talking about Detroit as a product through the years, they have not been very good through the years. It has not been a super competitive game. And for what it's worth, the Dallas Cowboys weren't worthy of being on. It ain't like this a one-way street. Dallas wasn't worthy of being on Turkey Day either. So to me, I think that it makes sense to reserve the right to be able to put the team in that you feel represents the league, or the matchup that represents the league best at that point in time, because you have a larger audience that is potentially watching those games versus just regular every week Sunday games during the season.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know you were going to take a shot at Dallas there. I don't know what they did.
It wasn't taking a shot. It was just being honest. I mean,
can we go back to the fact, is Andy Reid not the perfect coach to dress up as Santa Claus?
Oh, man.
I mean, there's always that potential chance, too. So I kind of...
Great call.
They have footage of him acting like Santa Claus in the locker room once, right?
Yeah,
I believe there is footage of him.
Dress up, yeah.
I
think it was last year. Yeah, he dressed up like Santa Claus. By the way, Ali had an idea that he threw over for which team should be featured on Christmas moving forward. Lee, what was the?
Surprise! I had red goes great for Christmas. So does green. Two classic teams that opened up the first Super Bowl, Packers and the Chiefs. They could be those two teams that hold down the tradition.
There's a lot of teams with red and green in them, though.
Do you guys want some numbers on the Thanksgiving Day games for Detroit and Dallas? It's actually more favorable for Dallas than you think. Their actual record's 33-23-1. on Thanksgiving. So they've actually won more than they've lost. Now, can't say that for Detroit. They're 37-46-2. But you have to understand that this dates back to the Lions have played on Thanksgiving every year since 1934. So it's kind of a tradition with them on Thanksgiving. If you're the NFL and you're trying to start that tradition with Kansas City, to Lee's point, do you want to have a specific matchup, or do you maybe just want to have those two specific teams playing on that given day as we now are moving in or venturing into a world of a triple header? Or do you look at it and say, we're saving it really for what we feel to be the prize of our league, the number one player in our league? LeBron used to always be on Christmas Day. Steph Curry would be on Christmas Day because those are the stars in the NBA that would rate. And now that the NFL has essentially squashed that territory for itself, they're putting on their superstars. It's almost like a heavyweight boxing match battle between two professional sports leagues.
I like that better. I like the heavyweights better. I like that. I just don't. I don't see the value in just locking one team in. I don't. I really don't.
The only requirement should be it's got to be a game that'll be played in the elements. It's got to be outdoors. I don't want to watch a Christmas game from SoFi Stadium, that giant gazebo. That's awful. I'm not interested in watching that. I want to see the elements. I want to see frost. I want to see snow. I want to see frigid temperatures. I want it to feel like Christmas.
But what if one of those good teams is a LA team or a Florida team? What about that?
Can I ask this, though? You were saying this sitting from your comfy, warm chair in Thousand Oaks, California.
That's correct.
That is very
so
true.
You want to watch it, and you want to watch other
That's
people
correct.
out there in the elements suffering through the cold.
Yeah.
Yet your weak ass is going to be sitting
That is correct.
in some armchair, just going, "Oh, it looks beautiful. Glad I'm not there." But you want to watch it.
Yeah, let me tell you something, buddy. The world is my snow globe on Christmas. I will watch. I will not partake, but I will watch from 75-degree weather in Southern California.
You lose all credibility of being a hard hat lunch pail type of guy when you make that sort of comment.
What do you mean? I got hardy boards at the house. What are you talking about?
How many times have you seen snow?
I've seen
True.
snow
Yeah.
on Lee's coffee table or elsewhere.
Oh, God.
Oh, snap.
Oh God.
Sorry, I've actually never seen Lee's coffee table.
Clearly, Lorena has.
I would say
She's got us, Lee.
No, I would say less than 10 times.
Dang.
Yeah, less than 10. In fact, the last time I saw snow, it was when LaVar and I were taking the Uber to the airport in Houston at the O'Reilly's event. And
Did we see snow?
It had just snowed in Houston 3 days before, and it was still sitting on the rooftops. So, yeah, that was it. Other than that, yeah, I try and stay as far away as possible.
Let me tell you something. I went to that SMU game, the playoff game in State College.
Eric Dickerson was there. He's like, I got the hell out of there.
That was a different type of cold. I forgot how cold is. That was a different type of cold right there, man. I had on long draws like a man, like my granddaddy used to do when they used to go into the mills. I had on a thick pair of socks, thick gloves. I had everything, and it was still bone chilling cold. I'm talking I don't know. I think that could be overrated. That's overrated. That's all I'll say.
I was at both the Notre Dame and Ohio State games in those frigid conditions that you're referring to. So you guys were over there. Did you even stay for a half?
You said I always take it in at halftime. That's like my thing.
That you're done.
I'm out of there at halftime.
Oh, you're tailgating. That's what it is.
I do. I go back. I go to the suites or go over to my tailgate space to watch the game.
What up,
it's just
Spikes?
my thing. Yeah. Yeah. Shouts out to Scott and them Spikes. But I will say, just the weather deal. I think it's overrated, man. I really do. It doesn't have to be in a cold climate. In fact, I thought the most fun I had at a game was the Orange Bowl was the game between Notre Dame and Penn State. And it definitely wasn't warm, like wasn't hot out, and you guys were there, we were in town. I wouldn't have a problem with a game being in a warm climate place where it's not snowing. I hear that so much from certain demos of fans. I don't understand it.
So there is something to what you're saying, because if you think about it, like the Rose Bowl was always played on New Year's Day. Is that fair? Is that right?
Yeah.
Or at least traditionally it has been
2 o'clock local time, baby.
And that's one in which when you watch it, you're saying like, oh, and especially people who are living in those cold weather climates watch and go, oh man, look at this, look how beautiful this is. So I think if you're trying to start a new tradition, it doesn't matter like really the venue. You just got to kind of pick it and stay with it.